All right, let's just jump right into this explainer. We're going to completely reframe what it actually means when you prefer a tiny or maybe even non-existent social circle. Society is constantly pushing this narrative that having a huge entourage, a massive group of friends, is the ultimate marker of success and happiness. But what if the exact opposite is true for a specific type of thinker? Today we are unpacking the really fascinating psychology of the rare mind, looking closely at the specific traits of individuals who intentionally keep their social circles small.
So, if you've ever felt kind of out of place, let me just validate that for you right off the bat. Psychology tells us that people with few or no friends are often completely misunderstood, but they are certainly not broken. You're not antisocial, and you are absolutely not a failure for skipping out on things. Think about that familiar feeling of absolute dread when an acquaintance asks you to go to some loud, crowded networking event, when literally all you want to do is stay home and read. That feeling, it isn't a flaw. In many cases, your brain is just wired to view normal social life as totally draining or honestly simply unnecessary.
Which really brings us to the big question, doesn't it? Why do the strongest minds often walk alone? Well, today we're diving into the hidden biological and cognitive science behind keeping your circle so small. We're going to explore 5 specific psychological traits that reveal exactly why certain individuals operate so differently. As you'll see, your social habits aren't just quirky personality traits, they're actually linked to deep structural mechanics within your mind.
All right, let's kick things off with trait number 1.
People with small circles just have a massively higher standard for connection. You aren't avoiding relationships across the board, you're actively avoiding the exhausting surface-level stuff. Quality over quantity, always. You dodge draining small talk because your rare personality intensely craves what psychologists call self-transcendence. While other people might be out there chasing applause, status, or just basic comfort, your brain is absolutely hungry for deeper purpose. Superficial validation just doesn't register as a reward for you. You want the truth, and you simply won't settle for shallow interactions to get it. Because of that incredibly high standard, you naturally default to high-level thinking. You're constantly utilizing that intelligence-boosting habit of asking, why? Building these complex cause and effect chains in your head. For a mind that's constantly digging into the reasons behind literally everything, forcing empty, everyday chatter is exhausting. Having to talk about the weather or local gossip feels like mental static to a brain that wants to decode the universe. It's not just boring, it actively depletes your precious cognitive resources.
Moving right along to trait number 2.
This one gets into the actual biological reality of why socializing leaves you feeling so wiped out. It's not just an attitude, it's physiological. The crucial point here is that a rare personality frequently possesses high social sensitivity. It's not that you inherently dislike people. It's just that your nervous system burns a massive amount of energy during social contact. Think of it like a highly demanding app completely draining your phone's battery in the background. Because your social battery drains so fast, you just need much longer periods to recharge. You are literally, neurologically protecting your energy.
And during that crucial recovery time, you're actually doing something that actively boosts your IQ. While a large portion of the general public is terrified of silence, constantly escaping into doom scrolling, loud music, or meaningless noise, you use quiet solitude as a powerful tool. You use it to trigger deep processing mode. This is where real reflection, massive insights, and creative problem-solving actually happen. You don't fear the quiet. You leverage it.
And that leads us to trait number 3.
Because you spend so much time in that deep processing mode, you develop this unique and exceptional independence. You don't rely on a group's validation to feel good about your decisions. Psychologists call this low social dependency. Basically, it means you can go out to a restaurant completely alone, sit with your thoughts, and genuinely enjoy the whole experience, while others might feel intensely awkward or self-conscious doing the exact same thing. You've got this amazing ability to happily create a vibrant inner world, entertaining yourself and figuring out complex problems entirely on your own.
This incredible self-sufficiency gives you the space you need to actually practice cognitive control. Think about typical group dynamics. They usually force people to just agree in order to fit in, right? It pushes their brains into an emotional survival mode where they react instantly to everything. But by walking alone and pausing before you speak or act, you keep your brain firmly in reasoning mode. Even in moments of really high chaos or stress, your independence lets you step back, look at things logically, and easily override those impulsive, crowd-driven reactions.
Which brings us to trait number 4.
This trait is all about how your past fundamentally shapes your trust threshold. For a lot of rare personalities, a small circle is a highly curated defensive strategy.
Due to past experiences, and I know a ton of you can deeply relate to this, whether it was a really painful betrayal or just being drained by the wrong crowd for far too long, your selective brain developed high interpersonal sensitivity. You have an intuition backed by razor-sharp observation. You can instantly spot dishonesty, micro-behaviors, tiny hesitations, and especially the specific words people actively choose not to say.
And this ties beautifully into a core habit of highly intelligent people. You observe behavior patterns to figure out underlying motives, rather than wasting your energy reacting emotionally. This is an incredibly efficient defense mechanism. You aren't judging people just to be mean. You're essentially playing emotional chess, seeing 3 moves ahead. You utilize logic and pattern recognition to protect your peace. It is an absolute hallmark of advanced social intelligence.
And finally, let's look at trait number 5. Trait number 5 is the ultimate psychological result of all these distinct behaviors, cultivating a profoundly complex and rich inner world. You possess a richer imagination and deeper intuition specifically because your mind relies on complex cognitive processing. Take a second to really absorb what that means. You don't see the world in simple black and white. Instead, you see it in intricate layers and contradictions. You literally think in complex systems rather than simple sentences. Naturally, this kind of incredible depth makes regular, everyday social circles feel completely unrelatable. Inside this rich inner world, you maintain a constant inner dialogue, heavily utilizing metacognition. Metacognition is literally thinking about your own thinking, and it operates almost like a superpower. You're essentially your own internal auditor, constantly asking yourself, wait, why did I just react that way? Actually, what if I'm wrong about this? You actively track your own recurring behavioral patterns. This continuous mental loop rapidly upgrades your situational awareness and your overall emotional maturity.
And notice how you likely manage that internal world. Look at the deliberate reduction in emotional language. Instead of defaulting to a low IQ, emotionally reactive phrase like, "Oh my gosh, I hate this," or "this is terrible," you shift to a neutral, high IQ framing. You say, "Okay, this is inconvenient. What can I adjust here?" This incredibly subtle shift in your internal monologue keeps your brain perfectly calm, drastically cuts down your stress, and locks your mind into a highly efficient problem-solving mode.
So if we pull the whole shebang together and look at the daily mechanics of this rare personality type, it forms a really clear, logical 3-step process. First, you naturally seek depth and truth over surface noise. Second, you observe human behavior and detach logically so you can understand it. And third, you fiercely protect your cognitive energy. Keeping your circle extraordinarily small isn't a lack of social skills, guys. It is a highly evolved, brilliant strategy for mental preservation.
I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to chew on today. Take a really close look at your own social habits right now. Does your current social circle drain your precious cognitive energy, or does it genuinely challenge your mind to grow and match your depth? Because sometimes the absolute smartest thing you can do is walk alone, at least until you find those rare few who truly speak your language.